Let me introduce you to Kylie Brewer, ladies and gentlemen. She's got 105,000 followers on Instagram, and on the daily, she posts videos about how bad white people are. She's a feminist. She's an activist. She's an LGBTQ+, or she is LGBTQ+. Congratulations. Thanks for telling us about your sexuality. Nobody asked. And she's an anti-racist. How good. I love how people put anti-racist in their Instagram bio just so everybody knows you're not a racist, you dickhead. Kylie posts an enormous amount of content, okay? Why every woman should be a feminist. Climate change means American will be refugees. The SATs were created by white supremacists. I'm a red pill target. I need your help. The indoctrination of anti-Indian racism in the US. Racist beliefs that good white people have. 5 ways cops abuse their power. Doing the right thing is not popular with white people. You get the point. She posts a lot of content, and a lot of it is shit. She has a lot of piss poor ideas, and we're going to take a look at them all today. We're going to break down her ideas and maybe give her a little bit of an education in, well, what I would like to call the reality of the situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's do it.
Hi, my name is Kylie, and here are 5 words you use every day that have racist origins.
Okay.
Number 1, hip hip hooray.
That's right. I knew that was a racist one. Every birthday, when someone says hip hip hooray, I just look at the closest black person and I say, I'm kidding, of course. There's no black people at my birthdays.
Although it might sound joyful, hip hip was an anti-Semitic chant used by mobs in Europe in the 1900s, especially during the Hep Hep riots in Germany. It has a much darker past than people realize.
Okay, so we should not use a hip hip. Well, my 2-year-old says hip hip, and he only shouts it at Jews, and I allow it.
Number 2, moron. Moron was a term used to describe people with intellectual disabilities that was often used to justify forced sterilization.
I think there are a lot of people who are morons and should have forced sterilizations. I think it's a great word. I think we should continue using it.
It was very common among eugenicists. Number 3, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I am shocked by how many people do not know that the word tiger was originally this word.
What word? I imagine she's saying the N-word? Eeny. Oh, yes, definitely. Catch an N-word by the toe. Yeah, that's not great. But I'm glad they changed it. That's better. I mean, you don't want to turn up at a children's birthday party, and if you don't have kids and you turn up at a children's birthday party, that's weird anyway. But you don't want to turn up at a children's birthday party or have your weird racist uncle turn up and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch that by the toe. You don't want to do that. That's awful. But isn't it nice that we've changed things? And if you take the bad out of the bad thing, doesn't that just make it a thing? Like, look at Hitler. If you take away the hatred of the Jews and the murderous fucking rampage and the psycho drug addictness out of him, he's a great guy. He's a wonderful guy. So if we take the bad out, it's all good. Bill Cosby, remove the assault of women from Bill Cosby's life. Legend. Jimmy Savile, take him away from the kids. What a great guy. So much for charity. You just got to take the bad away and then it's all fine.
It was common in both the US and the UK, and it took decades for people to change it, even in schools. Number 4, powwow. It's not just a meeting, it's a sacred indigenous ceremony where people gather. Using the term to describe a business meeting can come across as disrespectful, even if you don't mean it to be.
No, it doesn't. If you are an indigenous person, and like I imagine she's talking about American Indians, indigenous to America, not indigenous people across the world. If you are offended by that, you're a fucking goose.
And number 5, Eskimo. This was a term given by outsiders to label indigenous people, and the term means eater of raw meat. Many indigenous Arctic people...
I'm quite sure I've heard that Eskimo is offensive to say that to people who live in that part of the world. But is that really a bad word? Like, the other word, the N-word, very powerful and angry, right? People say it in anger. But Eskimo... Don't people just say that with happiness in their heart? Like Eskimo pies, Eskimo kisses? There's so many videos.
Think you're one of the good white people? Here are 5 things you still say that are actually racist.
I think I'm a good white person. Just
Number 1, my family didn't own anybody. My family didn't enslave anyone. A lot of white families didn't.
My family did not own anybody and still doesn't own anybody. But I imagine most people, well, it depends where you are in the world. If you're in America, maybe your family owns slaves. If you're in Australia, probably not, but maybe your family or distant relatives were involved in some way affecting indigenous populations of this land. And obviously in America, the slavery wasn't so much indigenous populations, but African people. Here's the thing that a lot of people will point to, and it's all to do with reparations and things like that. You can't be guilty of the crimes of your ancestors, and that's just quite obvious. Now, what I think that this lady is going to say here is something about we all benefit from it. And maybe we do. Maybe we do in some way. Some laws are a bit racist and they've sort of formed into other less racist laws, but somewhere at their core, they're still racist. But I think as a society, we've moved past that shit where it doesn't matter what color of skin somebody is. I think we're a lot better than that now, but maybe Kylie disagrees.
But we still benefit from it. Even today, white families hold 8 times the wealth that black families do, and this is no coincidence.
Okay, in America, there are a lot of racist policies that put black people into shit positions. That's absolutely true. Look at the projects, look at housing, all that type of shit. But I will say this as well. There are a fuck ton of very poor white people out there that are affected just as badly as African American people. So maybe in the 70s and in the 60s, that was directly racist. But now I think it's just because, well, everyone's struggling. Wouldn't that be a more accurate statement to make?
For 2, I voted for Obama. Okay, congratulations. Racism didn't end in 2008. Simply shapeshifted.
Shapeshifted. Okay. But don't you think if someone did vote for Obama back in the day, that does somewhat mean they're not racist? I don't think any actual racists would have voted for Obama, but yeah.
Also, if you haven't noticed, we literally have a fascist in office right now.
Trump being a fascist, I don't know if that's absolutely true. Just for everyone playing at home, let's just Google famous fascists throughout history. So who we got? We got Mussolini, we got Hitler, we got Oswald Mosley, I don't know him, and Giovanni Gentile. I don't know those last two. Maybe I should. But Mussolini and Hitler, obviously very famous or infamous fascists during World War II and that part of history after World War I as well. Can you compare the actions of Hitler taking over Europe and trying to take over Europe and Mussolini in Italy? Can you compare that to Donald Trump? Of course you fucking can't, you fucking goose. People like Kylie, they have this impression in their mind that this is the worst time in history to be a female or be a person of color or be whatever. And it's just not accurate at all. We have never lived in a better time to be any skin color, to be any gender. Like, if you can't comprehend that, then you are fucking.
Number 3, not to play devil's advocate, but what? There is quite literally no reason to defend racism in any way, shape, or form, so just completely eliminate this from your vocabulary.
Who the fuck defends racism, okay? Although I will say this, the definition of racism matters, because a lot of people define racism as just people being saying anything negative about someone that's not white, when that's not the case at all. Racism is pure and utter hatred, all right? And if we start labeling everything, which we already do, as racism, then you're going to get people who start defending certain types of what you label as racism, right? Being a racist is absolutely horrific. We shouldn't have that. But I think if you keep changing the definition, then you're going to get to a point where everyone is racist. Everyone's got racist ideals if you break it down far enough. But the genuine racism, the genuine racists out there are the hateful people, the ones who don't like people just because of the color of their skin. And that is shit.
Number 4, but black on black crime. This is a distraction so that you...
Black on black crime is very bad.
Do you know why the first police patrol was founded? To literally capture black people and drag them back to their kidnappers and their oppressors. So yes, we still see the effects of that today. And number 5, why can't we all just get along?
Maybe that's the truth in America, but there's been police in other countries for a very long time, longer than America America's been alive. Is that why the police was created there too? Probably not. That doesn't explain black on black crime. Black on black crime is very bad. Gang violence is bad. Is that because you put those people there in the projects? And is that because they didn't have any money there and it was all shit and it was falling apart? Yeah, sure. Go and look at videos of the Bronx in the 1970s, all right? Mainly black people living there. It is horrendous. But today, that's not so much the case, and people have the ability to hopefully get themselves out of that shit. Some people choose not to, some people choose to do. So it's a personal decision, I think.
Why can't we all just get along? I used to think this phrase was neutral, but realized it is an attempt to silence black voices and to
yes, let's all get along. That's an attempt to silence black people.
Protect white comfort. We can't all get along because the system is inherently corrupt.
Who is this lady and why does she have her tits out? Did anyone else notice that? Why have you got your boobs out? Why have you got cleavage happening when you're talking about racism?
As white people, we can either get defensive or we can hold ourselves accountable.
Shout out.
Peace and love.
Ladies and gentlemen, quick interruption, but important. For $5 a month, you can join our Patreon and see this video and all of my videos, including my podcast with my wife, uncensored. That sounds weird with my wife, but we just can say things. We just say whatever we want, basically. So go and check it out right now on Patreon. Just search my name or check the link down below. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing shows in America in September. Grab your tickets right now at isaacbutterfield.com. I'm also doing a show in the most beautiful part of the entire world, Cessnock. I know, gross, right? But it's in Australia. It's the grossest part of the world, but it's nearly sold out. So thank you very much. isaacbutterfield.com. Get your tickets.
Here are 6 words that you use every day that have racist origins. Although these words might seem harmless, they are rooted in a long history of oppression and racism in the U.S. Number 1,
let's have a look.
Nitpicky. This refers to enslaved people were forced to pick nits or lice out of other people's hair. It was a very dehumanizing task. Number 2, gyp. This is actually related to the word gypsy, which is a slur for Romani people.
Okay, yeah. People don't like that word. Gyp. But if you don't understand the meaning behind a word, how can you say it's offensive? If you say the N word, people know that that's an offensive word. That's a horrible word. But gyp, like no one's saying that towards, who's saying that? It's the same as the word, all right? Nobody says that to disabled people. So obviously people do, but they're pieces of shit. You say that word to your dumb friend or some idiot on the road. You don't say that to a disabled person. So if you don't use it in its original term, does that make it okay? Surely.
Number 3, no can do.
Oh, no can do. Okay, good. That does sound racist.
This was originally a sentence or term used to mock Asian Americans, primarily Chinese immigrants.
With their accent. Can I do that accent on YouTube? I don't know. Probably not. I probably shouldn't.
Asian Americans, primarily Chinese immigrants, to make fun of their accent. Number 3, uppity. This was a term used to describe black people.
Okay, so you just picked all the words that if you go back far enough, they've got racist undertones or mean white people use them. I wonder if there's other words created by black people, Asian people, Indian people, that they used against white people in a hateful way that we still use today. There may very well be some of those words. And I tell you what, as a white person, no one cares.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and here are the top 5 ways that hatred is passed on in white families. This is definitely a topic that not a lot of white people like to talk about because they prefer to stay race neutral.
Hatred is passed on in white families. Okay, from the outset, Kylie, I agree that sometimes hatefulness and hatred is passed on through families. So let's see what you say.
Stay race neutral, or at least not air their dirty laundry in public, but I do have some things that I want to say. The first way that white people pass on hatred to their kids is literally at the dinner table. I can't even tell you how many times I'd be at another white person's house growing up, and their mom or dad would say something racist and look to their kid like they made a joke and wait for the kid to react.
Okay, so if you are saying something hateful at the dinner table, maybe they will become like you, become a racist person. But are racist jokes okay? I think so. I think if you say something about a person who's not the same skin color as you and you make a joke, does that make it inherently racist? I think if you make a racist statement, it is hateful. It has the intent to hurt. But if you just say something funny about a different race, that's completely different.
The second way that it's passed on is in sports, especially if a white family or a white team is playing against a team that is primarily people of color. White people will say racist things. Did you see that defender? She was really aggressive, and other microaggressions that get passed on to the child.
Did you see that offender? She was really aggressive. What if she was really aggressive? What the fuck? Aggression has nothing to do with skin color. Although Caitlin Clark may disagree.
The third way is by discouraging their children from being friends with people of color because of certain innate qualities.
I missed that last one, and I can't rewind it, and I'm not going to refresh the page and watch the start of her video again. But if she said what I think she said, then she's right. If you don't let your kids be friends with kids who are black or brown or whatever, then you are a piece of shit.
Number 4, moving their kids to an all-white suburb.
An all-white suburb. Okay, I guess here she's somewhat suggesting that more people of color suburbs are more dangerous. Is that true? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of white criminals out there. But I also know that there's a lot of black people, well, let me just freak you all out, the vast majority of black people who are not committing crimes and live in happy households that are safe. So I think if you move to just a white suburb, then you're probably pretty outdated with your worldview. And you're probably an older person and you're going to die soon anyway.
No, people other than white people cannot be racist. Racism is a term that refers to the concentration of power among a certain group of people who then use that to exploit and oppress other groups of people.
Okay, let me just ask you this. If you live in, let's say, Saudi Arabia, and most of those people there are brown people, and they, let's say hypothetically, don't like Asians. Okay, for whatever reason. Is that not racism? Because if you're saying, yes, that is racism, then you're fucking wrong. Kylie, you're just wrong, dude. No one should be racist against anybody. How fucking hard is that?
People who aren't white can be prejudiced towards other groups of people, but they can't be racist because of things like colonization, imperialism, and white supremacy.
So this is just an idea that people have. And when they defend it and when they argue the point, they just say, no, you can't be racist towards people. Why? Because you can't. Okay. It's not cut and dry. All right. It's not math. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. There's variation and there is nuance in every conversation about race. So you're wrong, Kylie. You are incorrect. I will not listen to your argument. Okay. I don't give a shit. You are fucking wrong. All right. Anyone being mean, horrible, rude to someone just because of the color of their skin is a piece of shit, and that is racism.
Hi, my name's Kylie, and here are some things that white people say without realizing they're being racist.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope she doesn't show up any of my private group chats here because I'll be in trouble.
I moved a lot growing up. Sometimes I was in rural, homogenous white areas, and other times it was diverse urban areas. But regardless, here are some things that I've heard.
I think saying urban is racist.
Number 1, coming in hot, we have when a white person is telling a story and they mention the race of the person for no reason.
I met a black dude and he had a giant cock. That's how racist I am.
That waitress, and then mention how she was Hispanic as if that somehow has something to do with her character.
What if it did happen to have something to do with her character? What if he found I imagine she's talking about a man here. What if he found that racist was very attractive? If he found her attractive and she had blonde hair, he'd probably mention that. We're just pointing out features. And to point out someone's features is not racism. It's not rude. It's just accurate. We're describing to someone who wasn't there how someone was. And how they looked. What's wrong with that?
Number 3, saying the N-word in rap music or other songs because it's going too fast to skip it.
Yeah, I'm not going to defend. I wouldn't do that.
Number 4, thinking that their lack of skill when it comes to sports is because they're white and not because, in fact, they are unathletic.
I mean, some people probably have shit genetics because they're white, but I guess some people have. Who's saying that? I think it's just more of a joke than anything else. White people can't jump, right? Although that is a racist thing to say. Not really. White people don't give a shit.
Yes, they have actually said this. I've had a white boy tell me he would have gone to the NBA if he was black.
He probably would have. Although maybe what that dude was referring to was the whole idea behind affirmative action. And they do that with colleges, and they do that with sports, and they do that with jobs here in Australia. They'll only pick people of a certain colour for a certain job, which is inherently racist. Or what about when they choose to not let any more Chinese or Japanese students in? I didn't want to say Asian again because I said Asian 45 times in this video. When they don't choose, they choose not to allow any more of those people into colleges or universities in America because there's too many. Isn't that racist? Fucking oath it is.
Number 5, assuming that hearing people in public speaking a different language means they are talking badly about you. Specifically, nail techs or waitstaff, because white people think everything is about them.
Context matters here, Kylie. If you're in the nail salon and then your nail tech points at you and says to one of her friends, you're not allowed to know that she called you a fat dog? Come on.
My name's Kylie, and I'm obviously white. I grew up in a conservative white family, and I know there's been a lot of discourse about whether white people should talk about racism, and here's my argument for why I think that not only should we, but we have to. A lot of racism in white families occurs behind closed doors.
Yeah, she's okay. So she's doing another video on this. And yes, absolutely. Of course it does happen behind closed doors. Any type of hatred often happens behind closed doors when they're not being judged by people outside of their small group or family or whatever. But that happens with everyone. Okay, that happens with every gender, every race, every fucking religion. They talk shit about other people. It just happens. It's a human condition, okay? I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's not just white people.
I've been over at friends' parents' places and heard them say some pretty obscene things about people of color, assuming that I am on their side simply because I am white.
I say the most racist things to my friends who are people of the color. That's what I do. So I think if you say it to your friends, I think that's cool. And then when my friends say it back to me, then it's like about being a white dude. Who gives a shit, man? But when it's full of hate, then that's not okay.
Obviously, this makes for some awkward conversations when I do call them out. But point being, the depths of the racism and the
fucking hell, Kylie, you live a miserable life, love.
The darkness that seeps in deeply into these families can only, in my opinion, truly be exposed by other white people because they will never be their full racist selves.
Fucking cry me a river, love. Like, okay, you're making fine points here, but when you carry on with all the shit that you carry on with on your Instagram, it just makes me think, fuck, have you got anything else to focus on? You're calling out shit that doesn't matter. You've got so much time on your hands because you're a white woman. You could do so much more for the black and people of color communities, and yet you're just sitting there with your shit green fucking, what is it? Who chose that fucking color on your nails, all right? Are you Irish? Are you allowed to have that color green, you racist? Point being, Kylie, shut the fuck up. But I will allow this video to end, and then I'm done.
Because they will never be their full racist selves around anyone who is not
This
white.
has 71,000 likes. People going, yes, white people are so bad.
They like to save face publicly and say that they're not racist, but then again, if you go into their homes and you hear the things they say, that would suggest otherwise. I just encourage you, if you're a white person.
What matters there is context. If you say something that someone like Kylie deems as racist, probably what you're doing isn't that bad. But if you do something that I deem as racist, then it's really bad and you shouldn't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this entire video and Kylie in the comment section down below. I think that I have enough content here that I could do another video on Kylie, so let me know if you'd like to see that. And ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East, big stinks. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.